Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of the South African Cricket Podcast, also known as the SA Cricket Podcast. My name is Mpho and Tim. I've got Tim Lace here with me. We do all things South African cricket, and if you want to know more about us, please do follow us on X at SA Cricket Pod. Subscribe to the South African Cricket Podcast YouTube channel. Like and subscribe if you're watching now. You can also follow us at Apple Podcast and Spotify, and also buy some coffee at buymeacoffee.com/SA Cricket Pod. That has helped us rebrand and also provide you with some in-depth content in and around South African cricket. It's been an interesting week and a busy week for the South African sides. South African women, the Proteas Women, are playing against Ireland, and then the Proteas Men are still in India. They played game number 3 of their 5-match T20 series. India currently lead 2-1. Last night's debacle, we'll talk about that. And then obviously the 4-day series is on the go in Division 2, but has completed for the year in Division 1. So we're going to be doing all of that. But my co-host, Tim, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. As you say, despite the fact that there's a massive gap now for domestic cricket, I'm all right. I will get over it. I know it's the new normal in terms of South African cricket. All right, and we will obviously get into it from a Proteas point of view. Considering those two things, I'm doing fine, mate. I'm doing absolutely good.
Yes, no, we are doing fine as well. Thanks, Tim. So let's start. The Proteas Men are playing a T20 international series against India. It's a 5-match one. They've got 2 more to go. Last night's game was unbelievable. But anyway, they did win their second game. They set India a target, just trying to get you that game card, of 213 for 4. And they bowled India out for 162. It looks like it's a bat first. Well, not a bat first, but they did really well to score 200 batting first. It was something that we wanted them to do, and it gave us some hope. You're like, okay, this team can do it, right? The first game, they didn't do well. They got bowled out for 74. Second game, they came through. And then yesterday in Dharamsala, I don't know if it was the altitude, but that's no excuse because we live on the high veld. But obviously that's still further higher. It's like 300 meters higher than Johannesburg. And South Africa just couldn't do it. Aiden Markham, the sole guy, with 61. Donovan Ferreira, 20 or 15. Anuk Nokia came in with 12 of 12, but we were bowled out for 117. All of India's bowlers had some good times yesterday. And then India managing to win by 7 wickets. Ngidi taking 1 wicket, Janssen taking 1 wicket, and Bosch taking 1 wicket. This Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation with this team is frustrating. It reminds me of a Bazball-esque England side, right? You can score 500 in Test match cricket, but you can also hang around the 120s. How do we fix this? Because I know fans are frustrated. I met a couple of people over the weekend who recognized me from the show, and they were like, they're so mad at this team. And my answer to them was, be patient. It will take time. Shukri's trying to fix it. The problem that Shukri has is that February is 4 weeks away, 5 weeks away, 6 weeks away.
Yeah, look, I as you said before we had this chat, I'm not going to come out here and effing and jeffing at the team and saying what a disgrace it is, because two reasons. One, this can happen in this format. It genuinely can happen in this format. 2, you can't deny there was a different feel under Shukri, even in this format, than there was under Rob Walter. Under Rob, there wasn't a clear plan, and we've explained why that was, and I don't want to repeat them, but there wasn't a clear plan. There wasn't a clear direction of the side in either of the games, in any of the games that we played. There wasn't a clear focus. There wasn't a clear 3 or 4 plays that this team was working around and then getting the best out of individuals. This is still a work in progress, and you're right, for 6 weeks to go before the World Cup, it is a slight concern. What I would say is the series hasn't been competitive in the games. So they smashed us, we smashed them, they smashed us. There's been no competitive nature within the actual game, which is slightly unusual. You do get these one-offs, but not on this grand scheme. I did find his team yesterday strange, very perplexing. Yeah. I didn't understand why he went in with 5 pace bowlers. I didn't see the necessity for 5 pace bowlers on Indian pitches, where predominantly on these 2 wickets, they want the pace on the bat. These Indian batters, if you ask them, you say to them, what do you want? We want 140 clicks coming onto the bat. And they will make the adjustment to make the space to hit the ball in the directions of the spaces of the field where they want to. So I'm not majorly concerned, but I did find yesterday's 11 very odd. I thought the first 3 games were fine in terms of 11. Yesterday's didn't make much sense to me. I don't understand why a frontline spinner wasn't playing. At least one.
Look, I think it was, I didn't catch most of the game, but I think it was conditions were favoring seam bowling in that game. And I think he thought had they won the toss, they'd bowl first and be able to put India under the same pressure. The only issue about that second half, and this is the problem about day-night games or night games in India, is that the later you go into the night, the dew factor becomes an issue. And I think we really did struggle with that later on. And so for me, that's what it was. But look, I can see the aggression. I can see the punching them in the face. And obviously, I can't write off the fact that we scored 200 runs in the match before, right? So the ability is not the ability, the ceiling is there. We just, I don't know, like, it would leave me a bitter taste in my mouth if in a World Cup semi-final or quarterfinal, because we've got no more teams, this happens. We stink up the joint and we score 120. Like, you need to find a way to kind of, when you're in trouble, adjust. And I think that's the lack of the middle order batting that we have, right? And if you look at yesterday's team, it was all the guys who need to make a name for themselves, right? This whole Corbin Bosch thing at 6, yeah, I get it. He's had a great time, but guys, even we know 6 is too high. Like, yeah, no, guys, okay. But like, if you look at the guys, right, you got Brevis, who's trying to find his feet in this format. We've got hits and misses, and we always say it's not going to be linear. It's going to be up and down. He's in a bit of a down patch right now. He probably next game he'll do well. Donovan Ferreira also up and down, not a consistent, and he played well that game before, so it was the letdown spot for him. Like, the consistency is what's missing in this format for South Africa. And then Tristan Stubbs, like, dude, Tristan's gone missing. Like, he's gone missing. And I don't know if SA20 is going to resurrect him, but the way I'm looking at it, Tristan's not starting for me at the World Cup. Heck, he'd be lucky to be in the squad to go to the World Cup. That's where he is right now. And so I look at that middle order and I'm like, yeah, it's soft. And then we look at the top order, it's Reza, right? Reza is one of the more consistent performers, but hit or miss. Quinton, against good bowling, Quinton doesn't have it anymore, but he's getting there. He still needs to be ramping up. And obviously Aiden's the sole survivor there. So I don't know. Like, I can see the plan. I can see that he's struggling for middle order batters. But yeah, I don't know if he's backing the right horses.
I can excuse the openers, because that opening spell from Arshdeep Singh was absolutely magnificent, swinging it both ways. It was very difficult. So when we lose those 2 early wickets, that puts a massive pressure on us. But I can excuse them, because that was very challenging, very, very challenging. But you're right, And we did say it in the ODIs. It's the same with the ODIs. That middle order is problematic. Again, I heard the official line for David Miller was that he was rested. He hasn't played for ages. Why is he being rested? That middle order needs somebody who's done it on a consistent basis, i.e. David Miller. That's what it desperately needs.
Yeah, no, I get you, but obviously we need more players, and with Miller gone, with Miller there, this 117 becomes a bit of like a 140, 150, and you could kind of hold it. But yeah, look, I don't want to talk too much about the T20. Look, we have a World Cup. It's not looking great. We have to trust Shukri. Those T20s against the West Indies are going to be so crucial for us. And these last two, I think we need to kind of settle on an 11 that we're happy with and not this experimentation again. But anyway, let's move on to the Proteas Women. The Proteas Women are doing really well against the Ireland women. Their last T20 was rained out. That was the Benoni one. But then they managed to play against Ireland in ODI on Saturday. Ireland batted first. They scored 211 in their 36 of their 47 overs. 209 in their 47 overs. And it was a reduced game. Who was it? Sarah Forbes going 42. Orla Pendergrast, 28. Laura Delaney, 21. And Rebecca Stockel, 39. From a bowling perspective, Tumizu Kukune took 2 for 32. Nonkulego Mlaba, 3 for 43. Sunay Lees and Miane Smith taking 1 wicket each. Chasing 210 and 31 overs, Laura Volfart scored 31. Tasman Brits, 27. Lara Goodall coming back, scoring 20. But then it was Sunay Lees and Miane Smith. They put on a 130 odd run partnership, with Sunay scoring 66 of 72 and Miane Smith 56 of 70, scoring her maiden half century in ODI international cricket. Tim, I like the squad. I like the fact that Lara Goodall has come back. She's been batting really well lately for Western Province. I was also happy with the squad. Danae Fanika was going to come in. Karabo Miso was also there. Eliz Marie Marks was also given a call-up. Ayanda Klubi also came in. And yeah, the team they played really well. I'm worried that we didn't get to bowl them out. That bothered me a lot. But obviously with a Marazan that changes, and also Ayabola Kaka that changes. But you want to give people a chance. Tumi's next in line, Ajax is next in line, and they did their job. Danae didn't bat, but the way Danae batted in the T20s, I'm excited to see her bat in the ODIs, and that's why I'd like to bat first and see if it comes as advertised. But Sunay Lees is on a good run of form, as much as she's been up and down over the last 18 months. These last couple of months, she's really stepped up, and this is awesome across T20 and 50 overs. That half century was really nice. And Miane Smith, the eternal traveler. The poor girl's been traveling a non-playing reserve the entire last 2 years. And finally, she gets a chance, and she puts up some numbers. That 56 was really good. Congratulations, Miane. Really, really happy to see her there. And the next, obviously, 50 over World Cup is going to be a lot later, a lot longer. So there's time to build up, and Miane is going to be a very important part of the squad. My only question is, will Danae be there at the next World Cup? That's what I'm trying to look at right now. Does Danae really need to play this one? I know we've got a T20 World Cup coming up. Is this not a chance to blood youngsters and blood a younger team for the next World Cup in 4 years' time in 2029?
Yeah, look, this was competitive for the first 30 overs of Ireland's innings. It was genuinely competitive, and you could see there were some South African players were going, hang on, we might actually have to get a challenging total now. They were looking at sort of 230, 240 at one stage, which would have at least stretched the South Africans a bit more than they were in the end. So I think Ireland, for large parts of that game, really did give us a challenge. And you say there earlier that we weren't able to ball them out. That was a consequence of some very good batting at the top from Ireland. They'll be annoyed that they didn't make those early scores count. But it's good for the Proteas. It's good that we had a bit of a challenge. It's good that we don't want to just roll over Ireland. We want the girls to come through, score runs, and people like Miana Smith to perform with their pick. That's ideal for us. She had an excellent game, not all round, bowling, batting, and her fielding was exceptionally good as well. She had an all-round package of a very good game.
Yeah, and for those who are wanting youngsters, Mene is one of those youngsters who should be in the side and should be fighting to be in the side. And I'd like to see more youngsters play the 50 over game. It's a really nice way to get them in. We normally try to do T20, then 50 over. But if Karabo and Mene and Kayla Reyneke can get game time in that 50 over team as we play the 50 over series and we rest the senior players for the T20 World Cup next year, that's a much better plan. I can then say you're trying to give these people a chance, right? And right now it's not about winning games. It's about exposing girls and young ladies to international cricket. And why not with the 50 over game? Because you have more chance of making a thing for yourself. So that's the thing that I'm happy about, and I'd like more to see more. So yeah, the Proteas Women will do it in upcoming fixtures, but the Proteas Women have 2 more games to go, one tomorrow and then another one on Friday. I think the last one is at the Wanderers. So if you're in and around Johannesburg on Friday, please do go and support the ladies. I'll probably make my way down there just to support the ladies, the Proteas Women. Okay, let's move to the 4-day series. We had a jam-packed 4-day series happening. I'm going to put up the scorecards for the 4-day series. Let me take the banner out. We've got top row. Also, let me just move the overlay, switch that off. Actually, let's do this. Give me a moment. There we go. Just some producing things. I just want to move this to the other side. There we go. Cool. Yeah, so we had 4 Division 1 games and 2 Division 2 games happening this week. And then one is actually currently on the go. Is that right, Tim? I think...
No, everything's completed.
Was there not a Division 2 game that started this weekend, like on Friday?
Everything is done.
Is it?
Everything is done.
Cool, no problem. Happiness. Everything is done. That's insane. Jeez. Okay. Oh, 2 games started on the 11th. There was one on the 4th. Okay, cool. Okay. Happiness. Okay. So Western Province went to Pietermaritzburg, to the place where draws happen, and they managed to extract a win in their game against the Tuskers, who are sure money to be going down. Western Province scored 290 in their first innings. And you've got Daniel Smith scoring 61, and Valentine Kitime scored 52, and Carl Simmons scored 60 of 39 in that 290 effort. 5 wickets to Sean Whitehead in that first innings. It was going to go on to get 10 for 119. Ziad Abrams took 2, Sean Gilson took 2, and Bamanye Klenle took 1. Then KZ in England, the Tuskers were bowled out for 148. 46 runs to Sean Whitehead, 33 to Ntando Zuma and Kagiso Rapulana, respectively. Carl Simmons took 5 wickets. Sepa Moreki took 2 in that effort. As 1 wicket for Dane Patterson. Josh Bread also 1 wicket. Bulelo Dube 1 wicket. Then Western Province scoring 201, declared for 6. 56 to John James, former SN19 captain. Daniel Smith scoring a 93. He's in a rich vein of form as captain of the Western Province. to get to 201. Sean Whitehead taking 5 for 53. And then to get him obviously to 10 wickets in the match. And then in response, needing to get a 340, 3 to win. Yassine Vali scoring 58 at the top. Kagiso Rapulana scoring 41. Sean Gilson scored 34, but that was all she wrote. From a wickets perspective, Josh Breer took 3 for 39. Tepo Moriki 3 for 53. And Western Province get a much-needed win there. Tim, these are your people. What did you make of this game? I can see young Josh Breer is introducing leg spin into your arsenal.
No, I tell you what, he's a fantastic cricketer. And it is a small note. I did say last week, I said you're going to see him score runs. He's a very decent, hardy batter in the same mould that a Simmons or a Linder is. Very, very capable batsman. He made 2 not-out scores, if I remember correctly. I think it was this week, because this was his first-class debut. Look, it was easy for Prophets, really. I've been very disappointed with the Tuskers. I thought with the buys that they've made on the off-season, they would at least be a lot more competitive than they've been, not just at the 4-day competition, but just in general. And they just haven't been. They just haven't been competitive enough. The guys that I thought that were going to perform haven't performed on a consistent basis, and they've relied on people who have done it time again, like Yassine Vali, to get them out of a hole, and he can't do it every single game. So, very disappointed for them, but Prophets are doing nicely. They're marinating nicely with a young squad, and they're doing good stuff. Promising sides.
Yeah, very, very promising sides. And that's really good. Moving on to the next game, it was the Lions taking on Boland at the Wanderers. There was some rain around, and it was a hard one to finish, but it ended in a draw. Lions scoring 374 to start off with. Connor Esterhazen is the story, but Zubair Hamza scoring a century, 115. Dominic Hendricks 51. Connor Esterhazen scoring 79, continuing his form, is his rich vein of form. Bjorn Fortuin with 66. How many times does Bjorn Fortuin do this for the Lions? Just bringing it through with a very important knock.
So annoying.
Yes, it is annoying, but I'm really excited. Like Bjorn, like if you threw Braun into that test team and you're like Keshav is out, and you're really not keen on Sen, Bjorn would do a very, very good job there. So I'm really, really happy for him. Wickets wise, 3 wickets each for Steerman, Nyaka, and Ayat Tamane, and 1 for Sean van Berg. In response, Boland were bowled up for 278 to give the Lions a lead of about 96. Who was it? Avium Kijima also batting really well this season, 50. Gavin Kaplan, 28. Jedley Van Precies, 27. There was a 71 for Glenton Thielman, which was probably for the last 2 wickets, they scored 127 runs, did Boland, and that's kind of what helped them get this draw. 3 wickets for Mulder, Swanepoel, and Fortuin, with 1 going to Delano Potgieter. In response, the Lions scored 206 for 5 declared. It was 42 for Zubair Hamza, 28 for Vian Mulder. Delano Potgieter got 33. And again, Connor Esterhazen. This guy, Carl Verena must be very watchful of this guy, because Connor Esterhazen could fall into this team by the end of this season, scoring a 62 there. And again, 206 for 5. So they gave them 303 to chase. And Boland held on. They got to 143 for 7. Clyde Fortuin 38 with Sean van Berg 20 not out of 68 balls. Clyde scored 38 of 98 balls. There was just a blockathon there at the end at the Wanderers. Vian took 2 wickets at the top of the order. Sia Plaiki took 2 wickets, and Ngaba Peter took 2 wickets. And the Lions get a draw. I think they still are unbeaten in the CSA 4-day series. Tim, any words around this one?
Lions were in it when they had Lions 225 for 6 at the first innings. And then they had that part, and then there was that partnership. And I want to qualify my annoying comment. My comment is simply, I don't want the Lions to win every competition. I'm not anti-Brian Fontaine. I'm a big fan of Bjorn's. It's just I'm anti-Lions. That's all it is. But yeah, day one, 225 for 6. That was the last time Borland had any chance of getting anything remoting a win in this particular game. Very, very, very lucky. If it wasn't for the rain, they would have been having an L after this game, without question. Lions with the rain did everything possible to get the win, and they were very, very, very close. There were some tense moments in those last couple of hours of play. But you're right, Connor Esterhuizen is in a rich vein of form, serious purple patch at the moment, and he's right. He is actually, you're right, he is knocking on the door saying, if somebody's not available, I'm here. I'm here if you'd want me.
And that's what you want to see, right? Okay, then the Dolphins went and took on the Titans in Centurion. Titans ending up getting a win there to move them up the order. It's their first win of the season, so they are looking good, especially with all their Proteas coming back. They bowled out the Dolphins for 125. Ethan Bosch scoring 35. Simal Pillay scoring 23. He's a newbie in this team. 125. Duan Janssen taking 4 for 39. Yanku Smith 3 for 26. And a wicket apiece for Junior Dala, Simon Harman, Dan Khalim. In response, and when we said this, Dan Khalim, we recorded our pod while Dan Khalim was batting. He scored 91 of 64. We kind of in the preview were like, we don't rate Dan Khalim, and he went and showed us that he can do it at a very high rate. He held that innings together. There was a 39 for Neil Brunt, 27 for Sinukwane, 26 for Peterson, and 24 for Munsami. 4 wickets for Tele for the Dolphins, and Tristan Lees took 4 wickets. Bryce Parsons took 1 with Ethan Bosch equally. And then the Dolphins got bowled out for 200. Again, very poor batting performance. Lower middle order coming through. Tristan Lees 42. Andile Simelani with a 38 batting at number 10. 36 for Zondo, 26 for Simal Pillay. And the bowling for the Titans, there was Yanku Smith 4 for 40. Duan Janssen 3 for 72. Good game for the both of them as the openers. Junior Dala 1 for 28 and Simon Harmer 2 for 31. And the Titans only needed 71 to win. Keegan Peterson and Neil Brunt did the job there. 41 to Peterson, 26 for Brunt. The Titans are back. Tim, how mad are you?
What a shocking performance from the Dolphins. This was their worst performance of the season by a country mile. They've got their feet up in our Sri Lanka rocks. They want their beach holidays. That's what they want. Which is fine. But my word, it was a poor batting display from the Dolphins. Some really, really poor batting. Some shot making. A lot of criticism for the English shot making. The Dolphins was worse, honestly. It was really, really poor. This was the game of the weekend where I had a banker. Titans in terrible form. Dolphins on the upward curve. Dolphins, they time things well. I thought this was the banker. Dolphins are going to win. They're going to win comfortably. I was horribly wrong. I would say that Duan Janssen and Yanko Smith bowled exceptionally well. I will say that they bowled really, really well. Yanko Smith is one to keep an eye out for. He's a youngster. We obviously know Duan. I thought he bowled really, really well in both the first and second innings. So it wasn't just the Dolphins being poor, which they really, really were. I was very impressed with Yanko Smith in particular. Good pace, good bounce, good bouncer. Impressive. And as you say, a much, much, much needed victory for the Titans.
Yeah, a really, really much needed victory for the Titans. Yeah, so let's move on to the other game. Also push up, making that was the Northwest Dragons taking on the Warriors in Potchefstroom. Lesiba, what is it? The Dragons got bowled out for 160. Most notably, Vian Libba scoring 35, Mikhail Prince 31, Rwanda Swat 24 for the 160. 5 wickets to Matthew Boast of the Warriors, Mutisami taking 2 for 10. 1 wicket each for Olifir Mnyanda, Apu Mnyanda, and Patrick Kruger. In response, the Warriors scored 387, 134 for Jordan Harman, Patrick Kruger scoring 76, Thomas Caber 45, and Northwest had 28 extras. This is ridiculous. Yeah, just a horrible game for Northwest. From a bowling perspective, Dean Forrester, Akil Kluti. So I was trying to figure out how to pronounce his Akil Kluti is and Jade Fanika two wickets each. Vian Libba 1 wicket. Alfred Muta and Onkenyaku 1 wicket. And then in response, the Dragons got bowled out for 85.
Yeah. And another poor batting display from this time from Northwest. Again, holiday vibes. But important progress for Jordan. I think Jordan is looking at his brother. His brother's now in the setup. He's going, people know I'm good. I need to do it on a consistent basis. And he's starting to do that now. So there is a world where Ruben and Jordan both play together in the Proteas setup in the not too distant future. Matthew Boast just keeps going, improving every week I see him. That boy is improving every single game I see him. Another one in the mold of young Smith, young up and coming pace bowlers looking at the business. When we've got, in recent times, we've had fast bowlers break down. Matthew Boast in a Proteas setup, it is obviously too soon now, but I see Proteas selection not too far away from him if he continues to perform like this, because he's looking really, really good at the moment.
Cool. Yeah, so in the Division 2, Limpopo, both we got 2 draws. One game was in Polokwane. That game only had 2 innings. Limpopo scored 384 for 8. Ludwig Keisner, 148. He's been a stalwart for them. Chris was a Tyler Trenorworth, 80. Christoffel Kleinland scoring 60 and Season Masondo 30. From a bowling perspective, Michael Copeland for the Inyati taking 3 for 59. You had 1 wicket each for Nico Fansel, Tando Ntini, Tozama Totana, Jan Kutza, and Gaudisi Molefe. Nathan Rue scoring 50 for the Inyati. Vian Rutsven scoring 70 for the Inyati. 2 wickets for Ivan Mudimukwane. And yeah, that game just ended with just both teams sharing the points. I see we've got the Inyati there scoring 3,150 runs. It should be 150 for 2. So that was just a mistake. It would be wild if they scored 3,000 runs. Okay, the other game was Northern Cape hosting the Knights in a Free State Bloemfontein Northern Cape Derby, or the Derby of the Union. The Knights scored 203 for 7 declared. 86 for Gian Kluter was the one that we need to look at. Tsepontuli taking 3 wickets. Odirile Modimokwani taking 2 wickets. Then Northern Cape scoring 254. It was 41 apiece for Romano Blanche and Garner Tar. Remember him. He used to play for the Knights. And bowling wise, it was 3 wickets for Dane Pete, 2 for Mondem Mantundu, and Jacques Mantu as well, with Tian van Vieren. He's also going to be playing for the Mumbai Indians. Good to see him there. The Knights in response were bowled out for 147. Richard Marie scoring 78. 6 wickets for Tsepo Ntuli and 2 for Dirilimo Dimokwane. Obviously, the pitch was turning hard. And needing 97 to win, they only got to 55 for 6 here. And 4 wickets for Dane Pete. I don't know if Northern Cape wanted to keep on batting or if they were happy to take the draw.
So again, this was another rain-affected game. Again, if the rain had not come in, Knights would have won the fixture. Northern Cape were just hanging on for dear life. At the end, I would put a mention to Ruben Marie, because Ruben Marie, things were a little bit tricky for Knights. They were 77 for 7 and in their second innings. And the way he shielded the tail and continued to score runs was very, very impressive. 78 of 203 deliveries, if I remember correctly. It didn't get the Knights a win, but at 77 for 7 in the second innings, they actually could have lost this fixture if he had not scored that 78. Another youngster, this is his first stint as a professional cricketer at the Knights, so and he's had a couple of scores from memory, so he's one to keep an eye out for.
Okay, one to keep an eye out for. So that brings us to the end of our CSA 4-day series. Let's just go through some of the logs. We're going to start with Division 2 first, just to give you an update. Is this Division 2? Oh, it's Division 1. Okay, that's fine. Don't know what Division 2 is. Do I have Division 2? I do. Sorry. There we go. Eastern sitting at the top, 65 points. Knights with 58 points. The Badgers on 49 points. The Rhinos from Mpumalanga on 44 and 4th. The Inyati on 39 points. Limpopo on 21. And Northern Cape on 21. As well, both Limpopo and Northern Cape haven't won a game. Mpumalanga and Border, the Inyati, Eastern Cape Inyati on one win each, a loss and a draw. And then the 2-win teams are the Badgers, the Knights, as well as Easterns. Easterns have won one and have drawn one and lost one. The Knights and the Badgers are undefeated. The Badgers have only played 2 games, and the Easterns have played 4, with the Knights having played 3. So this log's going to look a lot different once we resume. Looking at Division 1, top of the log, the Warriors sitting very pretty there, continuing their form from the T20 on 92 points. They're unbeaten after 5 games, 3 wins, 2 draws. Northwest Dragons, having lost 2 games, have won 3 with 84 points. The Lions, having won 2, lost 1, and drawn 2 on 82 points. Boland, same thing with the Lions and the Dolphins as well. 2 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, and 2 draws on 81. The Dolphins on 78 points. Western Province having won 2 and lost 3 on 67 points. And the Titans finally getting their first win of the season, 1 win in 5 on 48 points. And the Tuskers, having drawn 2 and lost 3, are sitting on 43 points. So that's where it goes. And so let's look at the promotion standings promotion and relegation before we go to the upcoming fixtures. The Knights, 25 points. Easterns on 18, the Badgers on 14, the Nyati on 13, Mpumalanga on 10, Limpopo on 2, and Northern Cape on 0. Easterns have their full allotted 15 points. The Knights and the Badgers have an ability to move up the order depending on how their games go. Remember, they both have games in hand on Easterns. So that's an interesting one. And it might just come down to the one-day cup. Whoever wins the one-day cup gets promoted, which is going to be really good to see. So you just want that gap to close a little bit and the Knights to not take much. And then the relegation is different. The Tuskers are sitting at the bottom on 0 points. Titans above them on 3 right now. Obviously, this is subject to change depending on how it goes. Province on 7 points, sitting in third last. Lions on 8, snap bang in the middle. Dolphins on 10 points. Dragons on 13. Boland on 20, and the Warriors on 25. You can safely say Boland and the Warriors may have secured themselves away. The Dragons need to be careful. They can't start sliding down the table. But with 2 games to go in the 4-day series, I think, it's going to take a mammoth task to unseat them. It's just a question of how good will the Titans be in the one-day cup. If the Tuskers come out guns blazing in the one-day cup, we could be looking at the Titans of Province going down. That is something I didn't expect him.
But if either of those two go down, it would be massive. From a financial point of view, would be disastrous for Province. Because I know if Province's financial position, I think Titans would be okay. They're not runners. They don't quite have the money that the Lions have, but they're pretty good. They're at a profit. Province are not. Province are struggling with the redevelopment that is still being completed. So it would be massive. My money is still on the Tuskers. I still would be, on the way that I've seen them play this season, I'd be surprised if it wasn't the Tuskers. But you're right. It just takes one competition. They have decent players. It could be very exciting. And if it's one of those two teams, it would be massive for domestic cricket as a whole, because those two teams are normally at the top.
Yeah, the big boys in trouble. Okay, upcoming fixtures. Let's go through that in December. Obviously, SA20 starting on the 26th. But tomorrow, the Proteas Women play the second ODI in Gqeberha against Ireland Women. That game, I think, is at 2 o'clock or 10 o'clock. And then on the 17th, the Proteas Men take on India in Lucknow. Then you've got one more 4-day series match with the Badgers taking on the Inyati in Oudtshoorn. And then on Friday, the Proteas play their 5th T20, not ODI, in Ahmedabad. Oh. And then on Friday at the Wanderers, the Proteas Women host Ireland for the end of their series against Ireland at the Wanderers. And then after this, it is SA20 time. But up until then, we've got all these matches, so please do go out and check them out. Outside of that, Tim, thank you very much, my good friend. We'll be back with some interviews. It is kind of off-season, mid-season break. So we'll be back with some interviews. We'll be looking at SA20 in more depth. If you're looking for the preview, we did that last week, Thursday. So please do go check that out. Outside of that, yeah, it's a good one. Have a good week. And from myself and Tim, remember, please do follow us at need that banner at SA Cricket Pod on X. Subscribe to the YouTube channel just at the bottom there. Also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And please do click on the QR code it's in the top right corner this time, and there's one at the bottom corner. And also go to buymeacoffee.com to support us as we go and do this. And if you want to send us emails, please do. If you want to be a sponsor on the show, we do have that opportunity for you as well. So please do let us know. Outside of that, from myself and Tim, it's goodbye and lesale. Kakafiso.